guys, it's your buddy Griz and welcome to another installment of Hardline Head to Head. The showdown today is between two brothers from different mothers, the MP5K and the MPX submachine guns. Now this battle is slightly different because you will need to first be able to purchase the MPX, and it's only available to the cop side at first until you're able to buy the weapon license for it. The MP5K, on the other hand, is available to both sides right from the get-go. Now today, a winner will be crowned, but it seemed to me like it would be a good matchup as these two are somewhat similar in the stats department, I guess, and the real-life Sig Sauer MPX was created as an attempt to replace the heavily used Heckler & Koch Machine Pistol 5, or MP5 for short. Alright, so let's get into it, shall we? Seeing as it is the default mechanic weapon and you can start using it even if it's your very first multiplayer game, we'll start with the MP5K. The MP5K will do a maximum damage of 34 inside 8 meters before damage begins to drop off, ending at 20 meters where its minimum damage sits at 12. Magazine size is a measly 20 rounds, plus 1 in the chamber for 21 total, and the MP5K reloads in 3.3 seconds on an empty mag and 2.3 seconds on a tactical reload. Finally, the MP5K fires at a rate of 850 rounds per minute with a muzzle speed of 420 meters per second, and the recoil is fairly low, but does pull slightly to the right. I find the MP5K to be a decent starting weapon, especially since it comes with a suppressor right off the bat as well. It's the only default weapon that comes with a suppressor, so if you're just starting out in Hardline, this is going to be pretty much your only option if you want to stay off the enemy radar. That being said, I feel like the MP5K is so much better unsuppressed, and the reason for that is because with the suppressor, your muzzle velocity drops down to 260 meters per second, which is just so low. It makes it a lot more difficult to hit moving targets, and this is real bad news when you've got a weapon with a small magazine such as the MP5K. That is probably the most glaring issue with the MP5K, the very small 20-round magazine, and for reasons beyond my comprehension, they didn't even do it the service of giving it fast reload times. 3.3 seconds for a full reload puts the MP5K at number 2 on the list of longest PDW reload times, falling just short of the FMG9's 3.5 seconds. It just seems silly to me that the weapon with the smallest mag also has one of the worst reload times. Trying to tack reload every time is a feat. I guarantee you will find that 80% of the time, you'll have to deal with that full 3.3 seconds. It's just disappointing, really. Kind of like my feelings about the MP5K overall, I guess. I am disappointed. Believe it or not though, there are two things that the MP5K does do better than the MPX, and that is the slightly higher rate of fire of 850 rounds per minute versus the MPX's 800. Also, the MP5K does have slightly less recoil values, which I think is worth mentioning. However, the difference is negligible, and personally, it does not affect my opinion of these two weapons. I don't notice that much of a difference between the recoil of the 5K and the MPX. I mean, I do, but it's not like it's a game changer for the MP5K or anything. I prefer running the MP5K with a short-range optic like the Cobra here. Love the Cobra in Hardline, man. I love it. Suppressor is okay, but the heavy barrel actually did wonders on the MP5K, so I would recommend trying to get that unlocked as soon as possible because it's really good. Last but certainly not least, the extended mag is the way to go, if you ask me. While an argument could be made for the laser sight, I think the MP5K's small magazine is its biggest downfall, and the extended mag is paramount at bringing the MP5K up to a more competitive level with the other SMGs. Overall, I think the MP5K might be okay for your first couple games as the mechanic, but I mean, you'll pick up a few kills, no doubt, but it should be noted that if you're just starting out as the mechanic, you're probably going to be making most of your money by repairing hot wire vehicles and getting points other ways at the beginning. Don't rely on this weapon too heavily, as you'd probably be pretty hard pressed to pull off any 2.0 KD ratio games using only the MP5K. On the other hand, once you get the heavy barrel unlocked and start using that instead of a suppressor, things will inevitably get a little better for you in the MP5K. However, this weapon is still only mostly effective in close quarters, so trying to play within those confines can be difficult at times. I started actually running the Magnum as my secondary, as the Big Iron is really good at longer ranges and can literally snipe people from pretty far away. So therein lies your cover for longer ranges. I just find it kind of funny that it comes in the form of a pistol. The MPX, on the other hand, much better weapon. You will need to make some cash to unlock this bad boy before you can start using it, but it's well worth it, believe you me. The MPX is an excellent weapon for the mechanic class, boasting much better stats than the MP5K in some really key areas. So let's take a look at those now, shall we? The MPX does its maximum damage of 34 inside 15 meters before it begins to drop off, ending at 30 meters where it will do its minimum damage of 15. Magazine size is 30 plus 1 in the chamber for 31 total, and the MPX reloads in 2.8 seconds on an empty mag and 2.1 seconds on a tactical reload. And finally, the MPX fires at a rate of 800 rounds per minute with a muzzle velocity of 460 meters per second, and the recoil is also pretty low overall. Alright, so the MPX definitely holds the advantage over the MP5K in a number of ways. First of all, being its damage model. While the max damage value is the same at 34, the MPX has a much longer damage drop-off distance of 15 meters. This means that you'll be able to do your max damage of 34 from further away, and that will undoubtedly result in more kills for you, which is never a bad thing. Going hand in hand with that is the increased minimum damage value and distance. The MPX's min damage is 15 as opposed to the MP5K's 12, and the max drop-off distance is also higher at 30 meters. Again, this is just you being able to do more damage at longer distances, which turns into more kills for you, again. And let's not stop there, there's more good news coming too. The MPX has a much larger magazine at 30 rounds, so it's much easier to hit those tactical reloads and, as much as possible, and leaving you vulnerable for shorter amounts of time in heated gunfights. Keeping with both trends, it also reloads faster than the MP5K on both types of reloads, and to top it all off, a higher muzzle velocity at 460 meters per second makes it easier to hit the moving targets as well. Needless to say, I can pretty much guarantee that you guys will enjoy the MPX much more than the MP5K, and probably find a lot more success using it as well. It is absolutely much better in situations where you have multiple enemies to deal with, and you'll actually have, enough bullets to pull something off. I also find that the MPX is more reliable from the hip. Definitely seems to me like the spread from the hip is a bit better on the MPX, and that helps out in close quarter situations as well. As far as attachments are concerned, I really like running the MPX with the short range optic obviously, and I really like this Comp M145, I think it's called. I think it's pretty much my favorite sight so far. I've been using it a lot anyway. But other than that, I like the laser sight on the MPX and the heavy barrel. The heavy barrel acts a little bit differently in Hardline than it did in BF4, or does in BF4 I guess. In Hardline, it actually makes your weapon more controllable during aimed automatic fire, and it also helps decrease the recoil ever so slightly as well. I tried running the suppressor for a little bit on the MPX, but I found the time to kill increased a bit too much for my liking, so for this guy, I really like using the heavy barrel the best. Overall, I really dig the MPX, and I am picking it as the clear-cut winner of today's head-to-head. There is no disputing that the MPX is better than the MP5K, at least in my mind. And if you think otherwise, I would love to hear why down in the comments below. So new mechanics, get out there and unlock that MPX because, plain and simple, one of the most balanced SMGs available to either side, and just an excellent weapon choice overall for any mechanic. But that's gonna do it for myself, Griz, and this episode of Hardline Head to Head. Hope you enjoyed the video, everyone, and I thank you all so much for watching. I love it when you watch the videos. Let me know what you thought of our two contenders and what you thought of my verdict down below in the comments section. I always love reading your opinions and comments, and I always try to reply too, so don't be shy, guy. Let me know how I'm doing. Also, if you have a suggestion for a certain matchup you want to see in a future episode of Head to Head, don't be afraid to leave that in the comments section as well. in the end, for this series, I'm really picking weapons that I want to do and that I think would make good matchups, but, you know, I never shy away from suggestions, guys, so if you've got something good, let me know and I'll try to get to it. As always, if you're new around here, I'd love it if you become a subscriber. I hope you will. Hit that subscribe button. I hope I wowed you and was enjoyable enough to earn your subscription. If you did enjoy the video, remember you can always show it some love by clicking that like button down below, though. You guys know the drill. My name's Griz, and I will see you next time.